Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Shane, and today I'm showing you a video that I filmed a really long time ago, and I have some explaining to do. I had filmed this confessions of a former Forever 21 employee with the intent of uploading it right away, but I was kind of nervous too. So you'll notice in the video itself that I say that I'm no longer working there. There was a point where I had worked there for about a year. I quit. I tried to find something else to do. So I left. I went back. I was at my former place, the place that I really enjoyed working at. And then you guys saw not that long ago, I walked out. So I've been out, I'm going to be out, there is no going back to Forever, so I wanted to pop on real quick. I'm gonna try to make this intro short because the video is quite long. I apologize for that, but I hope you guys enjoy. Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Shane, and I hope you don't mind today. We kind of have a chit chat and chill sort of video. I promised you guys forever ago that I would sit down and talk about my experiences at working at Forever 21. I thought it would be kind of interesting to get a little bit of insight, especially if you've never worked in a retail job, but I figured it would kind of just be an interesting video for people who may just want to watch, or, you know, if you're looking to get into retail or specifically maybe Forever 21, you kind of know what to expect. I'm not going to talk about anything that would really get me in trouble. I'm not 100% sure, so just to be safe, I'm gonna kind of tiptoe around iffy things. And I really just mean that about like telling you like what my discount was, or like, you know what I mean? I'm not sure if I'm allowed to share like that kind of information, so it's not about that. It's just so more like what my job entailed, kind of what to expect, or what my personal experiences was, fitting room experiences, that kind of stuff. So let's get right into it. So I started working at Forever 21 August 2016, and I quit August of 2017. So I was only there for about a year. Now, when I first applied, it was very spur of the moment. At that time, I had another job that I was waiting for to get in touch with me, but I hadn't heard from them. And I remember calling this job, and they said that they are still reviewing my application. So I said, well, it's probably time to fill out other applications just in case this job never got back to me, which they didn't, by the way. So one day I just went into Forever 21, and this particular Forever 21 I actually shopped at all the time. I didn't like the one that the one that is in my town, and that's kind of important later on in the story. So I used to drive a distance to go to a different Forever 21. When I was at this Forever 21, I was just kind of browsing, and in the back of my mind, I'm like, I really should like maybe look for applications today. And I don't know what made me ask, but I do remember that my former manager, who at the time was just, you know, the manager of that Forever 21, I asked her if they were hiring, and she said yes. Pretty much hired me on the spot. She asked me a couple very basic questions, and then I came in within that week to have more of a formal interview and to like fill out paperwork and all that stuff. So I would say within about 2 weeks of me asking if they were hiring, I was starting my first day. My first day comes, and I am so nervous. I honestly didn't know what to expect. I had never worked retail in my life. I've heard nothing but bad things about retail, which I'll get more into that later on. But I was just very, very nervous. And I was also nervous for the reason, and this is the first time that I've ever run into this with any job that I've had, but I was nervous that my coworkers were gonna be very, very catty. When you think about like working at Forever 21, you have a lot of young girls there, a lot of women that work there. So you kind of assume, or at least I assumed, that it was gonna be a very catty kind of environment. I was pleasantly surprised, actually. The girls were very welcoming, very open, not at first, and I blame that on me because I am very, very, very quiet. So like I won't ever be the first one to initiate a conversation. So maybe they just kind of felt awkward talking to me. But at first they weren't catty. Nobody really talked to me. But I freaking loved my job at first because I would literally fold clothes for 5 hours and
that was it. I felt like I wasn't really working. I kind of enjoy folding clothing. I was a sales associate. You don't have to be a sales associate. You can be, you know, you can apply to be a manager, which, you know, management, they don't really, they obviously don't do everything that a sales associate would. They more so, you know, deal with customer complaints and stuff like that. And there is like stock jobs as well. So you can like take new items out of the boxes and do floor sets. So, you know, make the store look all pretty. So there's different jobs if you don't want to be a sales associate. So I had started working there, and the way that the Forever 21s I worked at works, I would assume this is for every Forever 21. You go in for your shift. You have about 2 to 5 people working. It honestly depends all on how busy that Forever 21 is, because, you know, if a company is making more money, they're able to hire more people. I've worked extremely busy nights with only 2 people and a manager because that Forever 21 wasn't pulling in enough money for payroll. So it's not necessarily about like, is it going to be a Saturday? Okay, let's add on more people to the schedule because it's going to be crazy. It's like, okay, it's going to be a busy night. How many people can we afford to to put on for that night? So there'd be, I'm gonna say 3 people a night, including me and a manager. So I'd go in for my shift. They go over their numbers. Like they have like, you know, week to date sales. They have, oh my gosh, I can't even remember. I can't even believe I don't remember this. I quit not that long ago. But they have like, I forget what it was called, but like when people add stuff to sales, like if I just see like a little wallet at the checkout and I want to add that, like they have numbers for that. So they just go over all the numbers. And then there might be training topics. So sometimes there was like a safety training topic. Sometimes there was like a floor set, or if we had like back to school sales or any specific thing would go under that, and the manager would go over it with you. Once they go over the numbers and you're pretty much ready to get onto the floor, they're always gonna have somebody as the cashier, somebody as a backup cashier, somebody in the fitting room, and then typically somebody just on the floor recovering. Recovering basically means you get, I'm trying so hard to make sense out of this, and I'm having a really hard time. I don't know why. No matter what position you have, whether you're a cashier for the night, whether you're in fitting room, or whether you're just on the floor, the store is sectioned off for you. If you've ever actually gone to a Forever 21 and look, it's actually quite organized, even if it's like super cramped. So like in this corner, you'll have your bohemian. So, you know, stuff that's kind of more loose and like coffee shop stuff. And then they'll have over here their nighttime section where they'll have more fitted dresses and leather jackets and studded hardware, accessories. They'll have their plus size section. They have their men's section, and so on and so forth. So there's about 7 sections, I'd say, like back to school section, stuff like that. So depending on how many employees, at the end of the night, you gotta put the whole store back together. Let's say I go in and they give me all the numbers and stuff, and they say, okay, Shane, you're just gonna be on the floor all night. You know, help customers as you see them, greet customers when they're in a I think it was a 5-foot distance. I'd greet a customer if they could hear me, basically. But just spend your time recovering your section, refold the clothing, you know, make sure the hangers are not backwards, fix stuff that's on the hangers. That's what recovering is about. So you'd be assigned I've been sometimes assigned, I think 4 sections was my most. So you could be, you could have 1 section if it's a big section, or you could have like 4 smaller sections. But you are in charge of those sections. So all night, even if you're in fitting room, you kind of want to like pop out. They'll section, they'll give you sections that are closest to the fitting room so you can keep your eye on the fitting room and then still come out and like take care and clean up your stuff. The more you're able to clean during your shift, the less you have to clean at the end of the night. The thing is, people don't kind of give a crap. I can't tell you how many times that I took like literally, I think I spent maybe an hour and a half on this one table just full of t-shirts. And as soon as I was done, these women come over and just start doing this with the freaking t-shirts, and you can't say anything. So you put all that work, and yes, you're being paid for it, which is why I didn't necessarily mind. But it's very frustrating, and you'll find a lot of new hires will get very frustrated. They're like, I just spent all that time cleaning that section, and then these two girls came in and they destroyed it. Yeah, that's retail. I kind of thought of a method in the back of my head. I would never touch the tables first. If you had tables in your section where all the clothes are folded, I would always take care of my my racks, my hung up stuff. Because it's true, you can spend all this time at the beginning of your shift making your table look perfect. By the end of it, you're gonna have to do it all over again. So I kind of clean it up a little bit to make it look presentable if it's really bad, but I would always concentrate first on my racks. And the people that I didn't hire, that I trained, I would always tell them that, like, do not start with your tables, I promise you. Unless it's a really busy night or like you're done with your racks, do not concentrate on your tables. So what to talk about next? That is basically like recovering. That was kind of like, you know, my job. So that was the recovery part of my job. So if I was out on, you know, just the sales floor all night, that's what I would be doing for literally 5.5 hours, is folding clothing and then attending to customers as they needed them. To be honest, the only times people really needed assistance in retail, like the only real questions I got from customers, the biggest one was just to pull stuff down. We have those little like hooks for stuff that's really up high. Or if somebody was looking for something really specific. I had a lot of girls come in saying that, you know, my new job only allows me to wear white and black. Can you help me find something that's appropriate for a business job that's white or black? If that ever happens to me, like, you are gonna learn the store so well because you're not gonna have the same sections every single night. So you're gonna like rotate and learn what's in every section. After a while, it became quite easy when somebody approached me and they would say, hey, I'm looking for a black leather jacket. I'll bring them right to where I know the black leather jackets are. In the case of somebody asked for something really specific and I didn't know, I would always ask my coworkers first, be like, hey, this one's looking for this. Do you know where I can find it? Or do you know if it's in store? If they didn't know, I would politely ask the customers, like, you know, are you still browsing or are you trying to check out? They say, you know, I'm going to continue browsing. I said, all right, well, why don't you continue browsing? Tell me what size you're looking for. That way I don't have to drag you all around the store as I run around trying to find that item. So that's kind of how I found that works the best for me in those kind of situations. Moving on to the fitting room. I think the fitting room, it's a close tie between the fitting room and the cashier being my least favorite jobs out of the whole thing. The cashier was not bad until there was a big change in our company. I'll talk about that when I get into the cashier part of it. But the fitting room was very easy. It was just very annoying. Very, very, very annoying. Our job at the fitting room obviously is loss prevention. We are looking for people. Well, first of all, we're trying to find you a room. That is our main job. But our other job is to look for people who might be stealing. And I have personally, I've seen it. I've seen it firsthand. I've seen this woman walk out with a big old coat stuffed with clothing, but there wasn't anything that you can really do about it. You're not supposed to confront the customers. I brought it to my manager's attention. I said, hey, just to let you know, I believe the woman in line wearing this is maybe stealing. And then they kind of take it from there. So I never personally dealt with someone directly with stealing. We are, however, and just keep this in mind, you guys, when you're trying to steal something from the fitting room. After somebody leaves the fitting room, so let's start from the beginning. I'm standing in the fitting room. I have a rack of what we call go-backs in the fitting room. So whatever people brought in and they're not buying goes on that rack. And they're called go-backs because they need to go back on the floor. Your rack is also sectioned into the sections that are in the store. So you have your bohemian section, your men's, your plus, your so on and so forth. So as people come out and hand you the clothing that they don't want, you say, oh, I know this goes in this section. Oh, I know this goes in this section. You button, zip, and tie. You make them look pretty. You put them on the rack. If you don't know where it goes like off to the side, and then your other coworkers will come in and organize them if they know where they go. And then throughout the night, either you or like your coworkers or your manager will come and like grab a handful of go backs and put them away, because those go back, that rack has to be empty before you leave too. There was one time that I left Forever 21 at 1 in the morning. Not even kidding, because we had to wait until the store was clean and all those go backs were gone. So that, I think that's kind of important, especially if you're a younger girl who might be still going to school, to know that you're not gonna always get out at 10, 11 o'clock. Sometimes it's gonna be much later nights. So I'm standing in the fitting room, doing my go backs. A customer walks up with a handful of clothing, and we are supposed to, as the employee, take the clothing away from the customer, count how many items they had. They could only have 6 at a time. No accessories were allowed in the fitting room. You could try on the accessories outside of the fitting room, but you cannot bring it into the room, including shoes. You would go into a room, hang up their clothing, and then put a number on their door. Once they come out of the fitting room, they'll hand you anything that they don't want, and then you're supposed to go right into that fitting room and then check for tags. You guys, tags don't alarm. I don't know. So you're supposed to, there's like big mirrors in the fitting room. You're supposed to check above the mirrors, on the sides of the mirrors, like on the floor. You guys, we know the tricks. I found a lot of tags. Once we do find tags, then we're supposed to log it so we can kind of tally up basically what our losses are from stealing. I mean, it's gonna be different for Forever 21, but for some of the stores, everything is censored. Absolutely everything is censored. The one that I worked at, I think anything that was above a certain price point and then like accessories were censored, so not everything. So I could kind of see then like you taking off the tag, but even then, you could have left the tag on and still had gotten away with it. I don't know, it blows my mind. Like tags don't set off sensors, you guys. Sensors set off anyways. So that is pretty much the job description of the fitting room. Just when they come out, make sure that they had the same amount of clothing that they went in with. And then, of course, if they don't, kind of alert your manager. The fitting room was a very annoying job just because of the attitude you kind of got from people. Like, some people did not want to just hand over your clothing. I had this one girl, like, give me such a hard time. I was trying to, like, I said, oh, I'll take it for you. And she's like, no, I got it. I said, no, I can't let you into this fitting room until I count your clothing. Like, you're not getting past me, girl. The other thing I kind of got attitude with was that only one person is allowed in the fitting room unless you need assistance or like, you're a young kid with your parent going in. But I had a lot of couples that wanted to go in together that I had to tell them no. And I had this one couple, I told them, I said, just so you know, like, he's allowed back here, but he just cannot go into the room with you. I was always very polite about it and never put up a stink about it. But you can see feet underneath the door, you guys. I could see 2 sets of feet underneath the door. So I had to knock on it and be like, hey, I told you that only one person can be in here at a time. So you might get like kind of scoffed at that. I had this one guy, I remember this one, what I thought was a couple come up and I let the guys back and I'm fixing the girls' clothes, I'm putting them all in a room. And I said, just so you guys know, I said, he's allowed back here, but just please don't go in the same room. And he's like, well, obviously. Like, well, if you open your mouth maybe 30 seconds later, I would have known that you don't float in that boat. He was clearly flamboyant, which I didn't know. Like, from the first appearance, I didn't know until he opened his mouth and gave me so much sass. And I'm like, how am I? I'm sorry, maybe my gaydar is broken, but I didn't know. I just assumed that you were her boyfriend. I'm not saying it to be a jerk. I'm saying it because I'm gonna get in trouble if I don't. So that was pretty much the fitting room. The cashier is very, very easy. I really enjoyed the cashier at the beginning of my job. I mean, people bring stuff up for you. You just take them off the hangers, put them on like a rack behind you that we put away at the end of the night. Fold the clothes, and they don't even have to be like perfect. You just, want to make sure that they're decently folded and bag them up. You would always want to ask if they want to like add, sometimes we had like lip glosses or chokers on sale. A lot of Forever 21s will have, like when you come up to the cash wrap, there'll be like little accessories or snacks to buy. So, you know, we'll always try to upcharge you. It's our job. I'm sorry. You can say no. So that was very easy. Like they either say no or like, oh yeah, I could use some elastics, and they'll throw it onto their order. When I hated, this is honestly one of the main, I hate to say it, but one of the main reasons that I left my job. Forever 21 started this program of credit cards, and truthfully, I think it's a great program if you shop there a lot. Let me try to explain our credit card system, because if you frequently shop at Forever 21, I'm no longer an employee. I'm just kind of telling you like the benefits of it, because it truly is a good program if you shop there a lot. So we offer Forever 21 offers 2 credit cards. They offer their in-store only credit card, and then they offer their Visa card. The in-store only credit card, pretty self-explanatory. You can only use it at Forever 21, but it was kind of a point system. So for every dollar you spend, you get 3 points. Once you hit 300 points, which is only $100 purchase, and how many of us haven't spent $100 at Forever 21, you'll get a coupon in the mail for your next purchase to have like $5 off. You'll also get benefits like when your birthday rolls around, I believe you get like a free accessory coupon. Don't take my 100% word on this. I'm a little bit rusty, but 99% of what I'm saying is true. So it was beneficial because you could also pay off the store credit card right in store. So let's say you had bad credit or no credit. If you applied for the credit card and got approved, you got 15% off of your purchase right then and there. You also get a 20% off coupon in the mail sent to your door for your next purchase. So immediately you're saving money. Let's say your total came out to like $40 with the 15% off. I'm not going to do any math for the sake of just numbers. Let's say now you're down to $30, right? If you put the $30 on that store credit card, you can pay it off without even moving. Pay with it with the store credit card, and then you can do an in-store payment immediately after your transaction for $30. So now you have the benefit of the points. You're gonna get the 15% off, you're gonna get the 20% off, and you have no bill. That was like our biggest selling thing, where I really try to like tell people, like if you think you're gonna get in trouble with the credit card, if you just keep adding on and you're not paying in store, you can get into trouble. But if you pay it off immediately, there's no bill, but you reap the benefits. So that was kind of the way that I approached it. Then you have the Visa card, which you can still do the same thing. I think you can still pay that one off in store, but you could use the Visa on Forever 21, on gas, on restaurants. So it was like a real credit card. I freaking hated those things. Again, I think that they were a great idea, but the way that we were told not to take a no for an answer. And it got to the point of where, like, if I ask a customer if they want to sign up for this credit card and they say no, I said, okay, that's fine. Just to let you know, here are the benefits. But if they tell me no again, okay, I'm going to take no as an answer. But my managers were like, Shane, don't take no for an answer. Like, you gotta keep asking, you gotta keep asking, you gotta keep asking. And there's this one girl specifically that I worked with, which I'm not gonna name names. If she sees this, she'll probably know who she is. I'm not saying anything bad about her, but she sold credit cards because she would ask and ask and ask and ask and ask, and to the point of where I'm out on the sales floor and I'm getting annoyed. and I had customers even approach me who are like, you know, I used to love coming here, but like the whole credit card thing, like they won't take no for an answer. So it was kind of hurting the business in a way. And I'm not that kind of person. If someone, it's extremely awkward to begin with to try to sell someone something, because I'm not like a salesperson. Like, I will outfit a person, I will recover. I was awesome at recovering at the end of the night. But again, if someone tells me no, I'm going to take no for an answer. So they kept kind of pushing me, and they're like, Shayna, try this, Shayna, try that. To the point of like every time that I would be, you know, on the register, I'd get so much anxiety because I'm like, I know what they're expecting of me. I know they're going to like listen to me and ask if listen if I'm asking the customer 500 times if they want this credit card. So it became a little too much. I'm like, I get it. Like, I get what we're trying to do. I get that we want people to sign up for these credit cards. But it almost was like we were almost in a competition with the other Forever 21s to sell the most credit cards. And I even told my manager that, and I said, like, it's getting really frustrating because, like, we're selling credit cards, but I'm sorry, if somebody tells me no, I'm gonna say no. And I feel like it's more so not to benefit the company or to benefit our customers, but more so like we can be at the top, that we're selling the most credit cards because we're not taking no for an answer. So I ended up getting really, really frustrated about that. And we're also supposed to pitch the credit card in the fitting room, which I did. I would just tell them, you know, you can save 15% today if you want to sign up for the Forever 21 rewarded credit card. I would just kind of plant that seed. It became a little bit too much. I had voiced my opinions, and frankly, I was never really put on registers after that because I couldn't really sell credit cards. I think I maybe got 2 in like 4 months because I would take no for an answer. I'd be like, okay, if I ask you twice, I'm not gonna keep asking you. Sorry. That was kind of the turning point when we introduced the credit cards, where I really started to hate that part of my job. I'm like, I get that it's part of my job, but there comes a point where you yourself as the employee have to take no as an answer. I'm sorry. So I guess that was all you really need to know about working at Forever. You do have to be 18 to work there. So I had a lot of like younger kids. They were 16, 17 wanting to apply, but they couldn't. I don't know the reasoning behind that, but you do have to be 18. I guess I'll just talk a little bit about maybe a couple personal experiences that I had that was kind of memorable, because this is probably the last time that I'll talk about my job at Forever. So let's get into it. I remember this one time, oh my goodness. I was in, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. So I kind of forgot really quick that I actually ended up working at 2 different Forever 21s within that year. But my boss at one point had overhired. So she asked me if I would temporarily, for 6 weeks, work at the Forever 21 that's in my town, the one that I didn't like to shop at, and I'll tell you why I didn't like shopping at it. So it was actually close to Black Friday. I think Black Friday was like my first week there, so the very end of the year. I think I went back to my original location at the beginning of February, and this Forever 21 was so different. So the one that I worked at, you know, how I just told you that I was very grateful that there was no real cattiness, that was totally different at the Forever 21 that I had to work at temporarily. Not everyone, there were a couple girls that I actually really got along with there, but the majority of the people who were there for a long time did not like me. Like, from the first day, I kept getting nasty looks. I'd even literally go into the break room at the beginning of my shift to put my stuff in my lockers, and I'd say hi, and I got no response. Like, it was kind of bad. I almost ended up calling my boss and asking me if I could come back early because I felt so unwelcome. So there was a lot of cattiness there. Also, the other thing was that how I was explaining how we have to put the store back together at the end of the night. So like, everyone would be done with their sections, all the go backs were gone, but then the manager had to walk through the store and like pick out things that weren't quite recovered well. At the Forever 21 that I went to temporarily, once we were done recovering, they were like, okay, you're done. All right, everybody go. We all left at once, by the way. In any location that I worked at, like, once you finished your section, you didn't go. You helped somebody else that may have been falling behind. Everybody left at once. So at the temporary job, I got out much quicker because we didn't have to wait for that manager to walk around. Once I was about to go back into my first location, they actually changed that, and they said that they had to do walkthroughs now, like thorough walkthroughs. So maybe, you know, somebody kind of found out that they were kind of blowing that off a little bit and kind of stepped on their toes about it. So that might be different at the Forever 21 that you work at or are trying to work at or that you shop at. Again, every location is just a little bit different. But I actually almost quit my job when I worked at the temporary one because it was just so bad. Like, I just felt like I was treated so poorly there. I don't think when I was at the temporary job we were doing that whole credit card thing, so that wasn't really an issue yet. I was just very grateful to be back at my original job. All right, so back to my personal stories. So when I was at the fitting room one time, you won't believe this crap people do in shops. It's unreal. Like, I wonder what their house looks like. Again, how I explained how we have to check the mirrors for tags in fitting rooms. I remember vividly this one time I had taken my hand and I was rubbing or running my fingers like along, like pretend the view the video right now is like the top of the mirror. So I was running my fingers and then all of a sudden my pinky hit something rubbery and I'm like, what the hell was that? And when I hit it just enough so it was like hanging over the top of the mirror. Do you want to just take a moment to guess what it is? I'll give you 5 seconds. Did you guess a condom? Because you were right. Yeah, it was a condom out of its package. I don't know 100% if it was genuinely used because there was no stuff in it, but I was mortified. I immediately ran out of the fitting room. There were customers in the fitting room and I just left. I'm like, steal what you want because I gotta go wash my hands. I washed my hands. I had to put on gloves and wrap it up in a tissue and throw it out. I'm like, shouldn't this be the manager's thing? I don't know. So that was mortifying, and that was actually at the temporary job that I already hated. So also, really, you'll just get a lot of, I learned to always make, if a couple walks in, make eye contact with the girl first. Because if you make eye contact with the boy first, you're in trouble. I don't know what it was about me working at that job, but like I'm not flirting with you. I'm married, you know what I mean? Like just because you walk into the store does not mean I'm interested. So I'd always make eye contact with the girl first and say like, you know, hi, can I, you know, is there anything you're looking for? And then you can look at the guy if you wanted to. But a lot of the times when I was up at the register and I'd be ringing couples out, the girls would always be all over their boyfriends. They'd be kissing them, they'd be hugging them. They're like, thanks baby for buying this for me, like over the top. This happens to me everywhere though, you guys. Like this was not just my job. Actually, TJ, my husband, saw this firsthand. Oh my gosh, what happened? It doesn't matter, it's not part of this story, but like we were out and then we walked into someplace and this girl just immediately like went all over her boyfriend. It was very creepy. Yeah, I laugh at it. Whatever. You got your insecurities, I got mine. I think overall, I know I have more stories, but to be honest, I can't think of them and I guess they just weren't important enough. You know, you can have some rude people will try to like switch tags out or our sale is final sale. So even if you bring it home and like you find that there's a hole in it, you can't bring it back. So like sometimes we'd have people who come in and like complain about that. And I even had this one woman, our policy is that it changed, but our policy right now is that you can bring it back within 30 days, but you have to keep the tag on it. Like you can't take the tag off and then bring it back with the tag. It has to still be attached to the article. It cannot be worn and you still have to have the receipt and you can get your full money back. We never used to do money back, so that is new. But I had this one woman bring back, I don't know if it was a sale item or I don't know if it was just super expired, like the receipt was from months and months and months ago, but this woman tried bringing something back and tried returning it, and I, you know, explained to her, I said, you know, I apologize. I think it was just an expired receipt, and I said, you know, I can't take it back. This is no longer in the system. I can't even pull back up like your receipt, like it doesn't exist in the Forever 21 system anymore. And she's like, well, by law, you have to do more than that. I said, well, by law, I have to follow the company's policy, and the company's policy says I can't return that. That was a proud moment. I'm not even gonna lie. I just got the goosebumps. I was witty. I was, can't return it. Anyways, you guys, I feel like I've been rambling so much more than I meant to, but I hope you guys enjoyed hearing about my experience at Forever 21. Would I go back? Yeah, I mean, maybe I'd find a retail shop that wasn't so like gung-ho about their damn credit cards, but it was a great company to work with. I mean, the discount was kind of meh. I guess I can say that. it was whatever. Honestly, I just found myself spending a little bit too much money there because I was surrounded by clothing that I really loved. So if you're kind of not even a shopaholic, but just like someone who really loves, you know, splurging on themselves, maybe that's not your best bet, but it was really fun working there. I just don't think it was for me because, again, I'm not a sales associate. I can't sell you something. I can't convince you to sell you something. So I enjoyed the experience. I can fold clothing like bomb now, which also they don't show you how to fold clothing there. Just a heads up. At least in the ones that I worked in, when I first started working there, I wasn't showed how to properly fold clothing. I either had to figure it out or ask somebody if I couldn't figure it out. Just a heads up. But I can fold my clothing now like a professional, so I did good. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna stop rambling. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you look forward to more videos in the future because I've been super into filming recently. So I hope to see you in my next one. Bye, guys!